Hi everyone. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create your maps that have the various variables that are correlated with obesity. So this is going to be for part one of the assignment. So the first thing you want to do is go to arcgis.com and sign in. And then when you sign in, you've got to make sure you're using the ArcGIS Online organizational account, not a personal account or public account. That one won't work. So we sign in. And I'm not sure which is your landing page, but if it does not have cwi.maps.arcgis.com at the top in the URL, or you don't see anything that says College of Western Idaho, you are in the wrong spot. It probably will not open up like this for you. This is how it opens for me. So the first thing you want to do is we want to go to groups. And I have a bunch of groups. You'll only have one, maybe two if you're in a different class that uses ArcGIS Online. You want to look for PHL T110 and then just open that. And there'll be some maps. And as you guys start building your maps, there's going to be more and more maps in here. So it's going to get kind of busy. So the only map that you want to open up at the very get-go is this one called Culture, Behavior, and Health. And it was created by me and last updated September 1st. So we want to just go open in Map Viewer. And it opens up. And so this is what ArcGIS Online looks like. And basically what we're looking at here is the United States at the county level. So each one of these little things here, little units, these are counties. And this map is showing obesity rates. So we can kind of click on this health county rankings for 2019, and we can see obesity, percent obesity. You need to just multiply this by 100 in your head, and you'll see that the darkest blue are 36.5% or over for obesity rates, and the lighter yellow is less than 27.5%. So your first map, you're going to want to kind of maybe save this, and I'll show you how to save these maps in a bit, but this is what you're going to save, and maybe you're going to have an overview of the United States, and you should talk a little bit about this. And maybe just kind of discuss in some text, which we can talk about in the upcoming videos about it. But I want to show you how to kind of manipulate this and choose other variables that are correlated with obesity, or at least you think they are. So I don't want to kind of go ahead and start clicking on those variables and doing the work for you. So I'll show you how you can kind of work around that. So there's a couple ways you can do that. So if you put your cursor over this, you'll notice some things kind of pop up down here. And you can click on this little change styles. And right now we're looking at obesity. We can add an attribute if we want. And from this pull down menu, there are lots and lots and lots of variables. All these are different variables. Not everything is going to have anything to do with obesity and the correlation. You're going to have to decide what variables you think are going to correlate with obesity. Sexually transmitted infectious denominator or rates probably does not have anything to do with obesity. So you have to kind of figure out something. Some college percentage. So when you map these things, you want to not use the denominator or numerators. You're going to want to find where they are is a rate. So a percentage, a rate per 10,000 people. So here we go, housing cost burden percentage, not a denominator or numerator. So only kind of look for percentages. So if we kind of pick some college, we can click on that, and you notice there. And so now we can look at it this way. So let's just, once we figure that out, we can click done. And it looks all these, now we have these things called, we went from a choropleth map, which was our very first map, which is kind of just a shading of color based on low obesity to high obesity by county. Now what we're looking at is by county, but these are called proportional symbols. So if we click on this drop down, we can see. And so for the rest of these, what you're going to want to do is when you figure out your 4 different variables that correlate with obesity, or at least you think they correlate, you're going to want to choose a state. to focus on. You're not going to want to do the whole United States because basically you can't really say much when you look at it like this. It just looks like a kind of a mess. And I also don't want you to do Idaho. I want you to choose some other state. So if we zoom in, Colorado, let's look at Colorado. Colorado is kind of interesting. So first thing we can notice in Colorado for pretty much all the states is they have a very low percentage of obesity because it's light yellow, and if you look at the legend, less than 27.5%. And some college, you can look at this. So the bigger the circle, the greater the percentage. So 93% of the people here have some college. If you go to the much smaller here, maybe about 35% of the population in that county has gone to college. So this tells you two things in one proportional symbol: the adult obesity rate and the percent college. So we can kind of look over here in this kind of area right here, Kentucky and West Virginia, going to tell quite a different story. Here we have a lot more obesity and a lot less college education. Much lower income over here, fewer people going to college, a lot of people working in mining, and so forth. So choose a state, choose a region, but do not use Idaho to talk about how these kind of things, for example, how adult obesity might, or I should say how some college might be correlated with obesity. And you'll probably have to do some extra research to kind of figure out this. You can also click with your mouse on one of these circles, and it'll give you information about the whole county. Number one, you can kind of see the county was highlighted there, and you can say about the health outcomes. So out of all 55 ranked counties in West Virginia, Gilmore County ranks number 45 in health factors, and sub-ranks for health behavior 50. So we can kind of see how it ranks up and not too well. So now the question is, let's say I want to do a map that has, because you have to create 4 individual maps. So now let's say I want to do this map, which is some college and adult obesity. I'm going to go to save as. So here's the title. This is my tag, summary, because it's just pulling this information from this map, and it's going to save in my folder. It'll save in your folder with your name here. So now what we might want to change this to is obesity and some college. So then we can save that, and then summary here we can say obesity and some college. So we can put that there, and now we want to save our map. So when we save our map, it just goes to our content. But now what we want to do is we want to share it with our group. So if you click share, and now we can make it public, so anybody who has an ArcGIS Online account, whether it's an organizational account or not, will have access to it. Anybody in CWI who is part of our account can see it, or we can just do it for our group. So let's just do it for our group. So if you click this, and then you say done, now it's saved. So if we go back in here, I can go to home. The map is saved. You notice the new name is now obesity and some college. You can change that if you want, but I don't think you do. And you can go to home. You can go to groups. Scroll down to our group. Again, you won't have this many. And you'll now notice how this map has been added. So you're going to have 4 of these maps. So maybe your first one is obesity that you'll talk about, obesity and some college. So you can open this up. And here it is. And it's going to, when you save your map, it is going to save it in the view you're looking at. So obviously when I saved it, this was the last view I was looking at in terms of this whole area. So for example, if you are doing, let's zoom in, I don't know, California, for example, or let's do Nevada or Arizona. We do, and we're zooming in, we go on to zoom Arizona. So if you're studying Arizona, you want to make sure you save your maps looking at Arizona, right? So when you open up your map, it should be sending the map user to Arizona. You don't want to be opening it up in New York or cutting it off. So again, if you want to do that, you can just save it. It's going to save to the shared spot already, so we don't have to worry about that. And so the next time we go and open up our map, it's going to open up in exactly this view. So some other kind of ways, you notice there's other kinds of variables here. We can always go and change that. So one thing you can't do is let's get rid of this. If we click that X, we can get rid of that. Now you got to make sure you always click on this done. And we can zoom back out and see these things. So here we go. Once we're looking at obesity, you can also go here and click on something else. Maybe median household income, which is one that's already selected there. But these are choropleth maps, right? So essentially think of them as two sheets of paper. One piece of paper, which is at the top. We can go to the legend here. Top map piece of, well, the bottom piece of paper is this obesity, and then the median household income, because these are the layers. So we cannot see this layer here, median household income, because it's below the other map. So if we turn off obesity, now we can see median household income. So the thing is, you can't really make a map showing two choropleths at the same time because they are going to hide on top of each other. So, but it's pretty interesting. West Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia, Kentucky, poor. California, not so much. Parts of Washington. So it's interesting. And again, you can have to do Idaho, but you can look into Idaho, and you can see Blaine County here. This is Sun Valley, so there's lots of wealthy people who live there. Here's Ada County, and you can look at the health rankings too if you want. Out of the 42 counties, Ada County ranks number 2 for the health factors, so it is number 2. So can you guess where number 1 is going to be? Blaine County. So Blaine County. So do that. So if you want to show obesity, and so obesity is at the top. Let's see if we click on this and we go counts and amounts. So now we can do this, change it to proportional symbol, again, percentages. You can say done. So here you can make an easy map as well. And again, we have two things. So here we have obesity. So the dot, if you can make a proportional symbol with a dot, it has to be at the top. And then below you can have your choropleth map by the county. And we can look at obesity, right? Look at how small obesity is in terms of Blaine County, right? Wealthy people. Here Ada County is pretty low. Canyon County, it's higher. Nampa, a little higher, and so forth. So that is kind of how you can manipulate. So every time I make a change, so let's say I want to make a map like this for, again, for my state of Arizona, you're going to have to kind of zoom into Arizona and save that, and then click save. And then I might want to call this, let's still save. And now it's no longer, it's obesity and median income. And again, I can change that to household income or something like that. Not spelling too great there. So, and then you can click save. And then again, you can share it with our group. So there, done. So once again, you notice here the name, obesity and median income. I'd give it a full name. And then if we went to home, we went to groups. And here we have obesity and median income. The one thing I should mention or should do is it's going to say by, but you might want to put your initials at the end. So when you save this, for example, median BC and median household income, and then put your initials, that might help you kind of identify because they're going to start building more and more. So you're not going to have whose is whose in there. So I would suggest putting your initials at the end. You can change this later when we build our story map, so you don't have to worry about that. You can also go to content, and you can see here is the content that I have created. So these are a lot of different stuff because I've done a lot of different other things. You will only have a few things as you build these through. So you can go over here and select these. Since I don't need these, since they're just an example, I can just highlight those and then I can delete and then delete. So if you make something that you mess up, you don't like, just go to content, highlight it and delete it. So, but only work and delete on your own stuff. So that's how you use ArcGIS Online for this. So you're going to have to create 4 variables. In this example, I use median household income and some college. Those might not be the best, so kind of look around in there for all the different variables that you think might be the best to help explain why obesity rates are higher in your state, in certain counties. On that note, see you in the next video.